because we don't know what people are going through. See, now I'm rambling.
This is good. We got you to a good place.
There'll be times when I'm
again from the dead. Preach the gospel anywhere. Stop by rappinggrace.com and join the movement.
Salute, this is Heesun Burgundy. Right now you're in the field with the Trackstarz.
Yeah, back in the field with the Trackstarz. Ryan Righteous, SEANTANA, DJ Jeremiah. We got Heesun Lee in the building. How you doing?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Good. So what brings you to Atlanta?
I am actually working on an album right now. So I've got a couple producers I've been working on in New York.
Okay.
I'm from New York, in case anybody was wondering. Yeah. So I actually have a good friend down here in Atlanta, so he's helping me produce some tracks here. So I'm going to stay here for a couple days and work on some stuff here.
Awesome. Yeah. So we actually, we first met you at Flavor Fest. Jeremiah and I were doing interviews in another room. Were you there yet? You weren't even there yet. I was in another room. Ryan, I believe, interviewed you. So I hadn't had a chance to officially meet you. So good to meet you.
Yeah, that's right. That was like last year.
That was last year. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we heard that some changes happened label-wise. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. I was signed to In My City Records from like 2013 until I guess around the summer of this year. Mm-hmm. It was a very good run, a great experience. I never was really signed to a label. Mm-hmm. It was a great experience. I got to put out a great project, Stereotypes 2014. I put it out. Just great people working on that label. They have a heart for God. The whole ministry is about spreading the word, and it was awesome. So, towards the end of it, we just kind of had creative differences. You probably can't see it on camera, but I'm actually pregnant right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm due in January. So, so being, pregnant and motherhood and all that stuff can get in the way. So not in the way, but it kind of conflicts with music sometimes. So you're going to have differences with the label and just music in general, trying to balance both. So that was kind of one of the reasons why it was just easier to be independent, because you can make your own choices.
Yeah.
So, but at the end of the day, we're cool. Doing this independent route now, and I'm loving it. So, we'll just see where God takes me.
That's what's up.
Everybody seems to love the independent route. Like once they get there, they've left the label. Now they're doing the independent thing, and it seems to really work because you do have that control.
Right.
We've had artists tell us that, the label just tells me to do too much, and they give me too much work to do that I don't necessarily agree with. So it's great to hear you thinking about going to independence. Yeah. Do you have any advice for artists that are just so set on being signed to a label, but instead?
Yeah, I would say there's always benefits on both sides in doing being on a label and being independent. And the great thing about being on a label is you just have so much support around you. Financially, it's a blessing. They help you. They you have a whole team. They do a lot for you. Not saying that you don't have to do anything for yourself, but it's just so much easier working with a group of people. You get together, you make your album, you do whatever you need to do. Being independent, you kind of gotta grab people and say, hey, you want to join the Heesun Lee team, you want to do this, you got to pretty much do everything yourself. But there's a great thing in that, because you grow as an artist, you mature, you learn the whole industry. Sometimes when you're on a label, you kind of just sit back and you don't realize a lot of things that are going on behind the scenes. And I can honestly admit, I've been doing music for a while, but I never really, to this point, had to do a lot of things, well, pretty much everything, on my own. I have a very supportive husband, and he's been helping me as well, but it gets really hard sometimes when it's just you to direct your own career. But at the same time, it's a great experience because you learn so much and you grow, as opposed to being on a label. So.
Wow. So, how do you balance everything? What's the balance? What's the balance like being a mother, a wife, an artist, that whole balance? Because it's rare to really see somebody be all three things and talk about it on because I follow you on Instagram and stuff like that. So
you see a lot of pictures of my daughter.
Which is good. Which is a good thing. But just how's that balance for somebody maybe that's harder?
It is. It definitely gets hard, and especially when I was on the label, because I don't know, some of it's different with Christian labels or smaller labels. You get more in depth with people's lives. So when I'm on a Christian label and it's a small label, they're very involved in your life. So they'll be like, yeah, I don't know if you should be pregnant right now. I don't know if you should bring your kid travel. You know, I would think normal labels are more the type like they don't get in your business. It's either just make an album for me, go travel. They don't get into your personal business. So, but when you're in a small time label, you're Christian, you're kind of like, you know, keeping each other accountable, so it's a little bit different. So when I was signed to a label, that was the issue I had was, you know, I wanted to bring my daughter to shows, I wanted to get pregnant at a certain time, and because it conflicts with the business aspect of being on a label, it gets so confusing. So I know I'm kind of like...
The amazing thing is that you're saying that off of a Christian label, because you would think, like you saying, hey, me and my husband, we're about to trying to have a kid, we want you to stop that. Like, even in a Christian label, they would tell you that? Like,
well, they weren't saying, like, stop, because they understand I'm a mother, I'm a certain age, they know where I'm at in my life, but, you know, business-wise, it's not the greatest move. You know, I just did Stereotypes, my album, and then we were pushing it, and then I want to drop another album, so it's like, how are you going to drop an album if you want to get pregnant?
Gotcha.
How are you going to tour, you know, and travel, and now you have 2 kids, so, and as a Christian label, you want to keep each other accountable, make sure that you're spiritually, everything's on point.
Gotcha.
And if you put a kid in there, it kind of messes with you. So I totally understand where they're coming from. I feel like secular labels or regular labels, they don't ask you that. They're just like, make me some money, you know, put it track out, do whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, I've never been signed to a different type of label, but I'm just assuming that's how it would work.
Yeah.
So when you're independent, you know, I could have, you know, 20 kids if I want to, you know, as long as I can handle it. But no, it gets hard. I mean, even right now, being pregnant, I don't know what it's going to be like when the baby's born, and you know how I'm going to juggle that. And even if I attempt to tour when my album drops, you know, who's going to babysit? And you know, I'm a very supportive husband. He travels with me, but he has an intense job, so he can't take off all the time. So how is he going to watch the kids? And you know, we're still working on it, but you know, so far it's kind of working right now. So
what's your main motivation now? Like, is there something, like, is there a mission statement for your art? Like, are you trying to accomplish something in particular?
Yeah, I'm sure you guys hear this a lot. I don't know how many female rappers you've interviewed, but you know, the main thing right now is just getting over that stereotype of the female artist, the complex that just this industry, not Christian hip hop, but just hip hop. You know, it's so hard to break these barriers and get to where you need to be, like just touring and everything. You know, they're just not going to place you in certain categories or certain spots or certain shows because of what you look like. You know, so I just want to let people know that I'm an artist. I'm not, you know, female artist. I'm not an Asian artist. I'm not, you know, I'm just an artist who really wants to change the world and make a difference and make an impact with my story. I mean, I definitely have a unique story, and I want to be able to share it and not be limited based off of the things that I can't control. So
you kind of, you said you've been doing it for a while, but you kind of came on the scene to me. There was a single, what was the name of it?
I'm a Christian.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
It kind of was just like, whoa, who's this?
Yeah.
You know what it was? You know what it was? Jeremiah used to do the line for line videos, and he would always put like a sneak single for like up and coming artists. Right. And he put one of your singles before something.
It was Susie Rock versus Nicki, right? And everybody was just like, wait, what is this?
I mean, people kept asking us like, who's this on the front of this song?
I got that a lot, right?
Yeah, you just murdered that. So like that to me was like your coming out party.
Right.
You know what I mean? So how did that come about? How did you know that was gonna do that?
Yeah, well, what happened when we did that? It was me, New York artist Seda, Ruslan from The Breaks, and I forgot why we even did that song or where it was going with it. But my producer at the time was Chris Belmont from Ja Rockin' Productions, and he purposely put me on the beginning of the track because he knew a lot of people didn't know me yet, and he knew what he was trying to do with the song. So he's like, we're gonna put you on the front and just shock everybody. And obviously that kind of worked, you know. So that was the main point of it, just to introduce Heesun Lee and show him that, you know, I'm with a group of all these dudes rapping and I'm first, you know, and just kind of did what it was supposed to do. So
yeah, it sure did.
Which is interesting because she's on the same Rokinon compilation that we were on for Canton Jones King Business. She was on that one, and we was on that one too.
Okay.
So we got,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know.
That's right.
Yeah, cool.
Oh my God.
We're connected.
So let me ask you, what are some things about CHH that you feel like could be taking us in a dangerous place? Because we hear a lot of things where people have challenges of, you know, are we being too prideful? Is our music going too far into the mainstream? What are some things that you think are safe and some things are dangerous?
Yeah, so I have this song. I didn't put it out yet. It's actually going to be one of the first singles that I dropped. I'm hoping to get my album out by, I guess, early spring this next year.
Okay.
And one of the songs is called Let Me Talk. I actually just did a video on it, and it's pretty much talking about the whole Christian hip-hop industry. And I was going back and forth with artists, friends. I mean, Teddy heard it. And I was kind of, I still am kind of scared to put it out. I don't know what people are going to think of it. You know, I don't know if they're like, oh, look, this bitter girl. She's
we love that.
doing this.
Let's get the record. We'll say it.
Sometimes I feel like I am being bitter, you know, maybe just being in this for so long, and I don't see the results that I want to see. But I also see what's going on in the industry, and it hurts me sometimes because I feel like we are compromised and we are doing things because, you know, I don't know if we're trying to be more secular, we're trying to just attract that other side of the world, and we're doing it in ways that we didn't used to do it before. You know, we were proud of who we were as Christians, and we didn't compromise. And go to these shows sometimes and see how artists are acting. You know, they're not interacting with their fans. They, you know, that's what made you who you are. You know, they'll get, you know, separate green rooms and stuff, and then I'll never see them. And then after the show, they run back to it. It's like they were never there, only to perform. And the whole point of ministry is, you know, kind of being off the stage. So, I mean, I get it, you know. At the same time, you don't want to really, we're not like celebrities, but, you know, these fans look up to us. So too much of it, we're human. We don't want all the attention, but, you know, you got to give some to your artists. I mean, your fans.
We love that scene at Flavor Fest where everybody's just in the hallway, congregating, just having a good time, talking. I mean, we were standing there, and we had just recently, I guess, a little bit before we had gone to Flavor Fest, interviewed MC Jin, and he was the coolest person. Everybody was like in the middle of the crowd. Hey, y'all, let's just drop a freestyle battle. Let's go right now. It's like, but yeah, I mean, it's great to see that, and I just don't want us to lose that. You know what I mean? I really don't want us to lose that. We were a little bit more known this time when we went to Flavor Fest than we were the last time. And it felt like more people were coming up to us, and I wanted to field every question because it's just important to be able to talk to everybody and find out what they want to say to you.
And I feel like the issue is that there are people kind of rising into the celebrity status now, and how do you handle that as a Christian? We did a topic called can we have a Christian icon? We were talking about Michael Jackson and how people kind of flooded around him. Is it possible for a Christian to get that much attention, and how do you handle that if it comes? Because people are starting to get it.
And I totally understand that. I mean, I don't have that status, but, you know, even the few fans that I get, you know, sometimes it can be overwhelming. You just did like a 30-minute set, and then you have all, you know, the fans coming up to you, just want a little break. So I get it. You know, there's a business aspect of it. You're human. You know, you have your needs. I totally understand all that. But when you're looking from the outside perspective, and you can bluntly, if that's a word, see that these artists are more about themselves and putting out hot records, and it's not even ministry anymore. You know, once you're off the stage, that's really where your ministry is. How are you treating people? How are you treating your fans? How are you treating the people around you? Your fellow artists who are doing this the same reasons you're doing it, and you can't even get 2 words in with them. You know, I mean, to me, that's a little bit.
You're touching on a really big issue.
It is, and I don't want to be a.
No, but I mean, no. Hey, join the club. We get persecuted all the time, but it's something that needs to be addressed, because what's interesting, something you brought up, and I want to talk through it a little bit. For the people who come and see you, you're starting to get to where the feeling of like where people feel like they know you, but you don't know them, and it's easy to look kind of like distant or prideful. How do you avoid that? Because these people feel like they know you. They're hearing about your life. They know what you care about, and they're like nobody to you. Really, it's not in a mean way, but it's like I don't know anything about you, but they feel like they're your friend. How do you bridge that gap?
Yeah. Well, to me, I've always, even before I got a little bit more exposure and stuff like that, I always look at my life and I feel like I don't even deserve this. I don't think I'm any better than you guys. To be honest, I don't even know why people look up to me a lot of times. Obviously they don't know everything about me, but they just know my music and they see me for that, and that's what makes them, run more towards me or whatever. But I don't ever look at myself like I'm better than them. The whole meet and greet thing to me is, I've done it, but to me it's a little bit like you're letting people know, okay, this is the artist and these are the fans.
Yeah.
And not that they're better, but it's like, okay, we need a private moment where you can meet me, where you can't just meet me somewhere else. But again, I get it, when you're a bigger artist, it's hard to just walk through the hallway and just say hi to everybody. I can do that because I'm not going to get bombarded by 50 million people. But, to me, I feel like that's just letting people know I'm not that I'm better than you, but it kind of comes off like that. I'm kind of iffy on the meet and greet thing.
Yeah. And I wonder, because I've seen this happen to a couple artists where you try and walk through the hall and you try and meet everybody, but then you start getting solicited. And then it feels like everybody is soliciting you for, like, they want you for something. Yeah. And then you could start kind of turning into you start prejudging everybody coming up to you, like, what do they want? What do they want? How do you avoid that temptation? Because, the sky's the limit for you. So, like, this is something you're going to have to think about.
Well, you know what? Even when I'm out there and, I'll get people who like, oh, I want you to hear my mixtape, or here's my card, I want to do this and that with you. I smile at them. I take it in. I understand that if I was an artist who was up and coming and I saw somebody more in the game, I would try and, that's just how it works. But to me, I feel like I'm not going to shut myself off just because I don't know what people's intentions are. I'm here to serve. This is why I'm doing this. If I'm going to block people off just because I may not know their intentions, God knows their intentions. I just want to be a good impression for them, let them know that they can go home and say, I saw Heesun. She was a nice person. She was humble. She was everything that I wanted her to be, and it wasn't just because she has a hot record out. I want to just be impressionable. I've done so many shows where I could be the only artist out sometimes just talking to the fans, and the rest of the artists are in the green room. Yeah. And it's like,
Feels weird.
It's, like you're doing this for the fans. You're trying to help people. You don't know what people are going through. See, now I'm rambling.
This is good. We got you to a good place.
There'll be times when I'm talking to a fan, and she'll just be talking to me for like 10 minutes about what she's going through. And in my head, I'm like, okay, there's like 5 other people there. But I still want to try and listen, because you have no idea what's going to happen when she goes home. You don't know, she has nobody to talk to. So I try my hardest to just give my attention to people, even if I don't really know their intentions. That's why I'm there. I'm there to talk to them. I'm there to make them feel better. So.
And what's crazy is we do have a really good example of that. Like when you say, like, what would Jesus do? Jesus was in those situations a lot of times. So you can really study his life and see, like, how did he handle the big crowd and everybody wanting to get at him and ask him for stuff. Like, we could actually study that. So it may be something we need to talk about.
Yeah, that's true.
How do you become a rising star when the light gets brighter on you?
And if you're going to be an artist, why are you an artist? Like, why did you sign? I know you don't know everything that's going to happen when you become an artist, but why did you become one to begin with? You kind of had an idea that something like this might happen, if you really want to help people.
But you know what? You're pointing out is that the answer to the question is they wanted to become the one hiding in the green room while everybody was kind of crowded around, like, where's so-and-so, where's so-and-so? A lot of people, that's what they see. You see that in the big stars. You want that, you want the attention. It's not necessarily you want to help people. You just want the buzz. You know what I mean? That buzz of everybody.
Feel like somebody at the end of the day, honestly. You want to feel like you are important.
And that's what, I think that's what you're seeing.
That way,
And it's good to talk about it, because if you're listening, you're an upcoming artist, you got to really decide why are you doing this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you just want to be popular, this is not high school. Like, you gotta decide what your life is going to be about. Don't pretend to be a Christian.
Right. Well, there was a line in the song. I said, if God took your gift away, would you still be a Christian? Like you could talk all day about being on stage saying, I love God, I'm doing this to save lives and witness, but say one day he took your voice away, or he said, this isn't for you, would you still be the same Christian? And
a lot of people haven't been. We've seen people over the years and they fall off. They fall off. So it's a good topic. I think we need to revisit that one day and like really dig that out, because like there's people that we are witnessing struggle with what you're talking about.
Right.
I have a question for you, and I think you answered it really quickly too.
Right.
How do you feel about working with secular artists or people in the world, partnering with them? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I want to do it. You know, I mean, obviously, I got my foot in the door with the Christian hip hop scene. Trying to, this is a whole other topic, but I'm trying to get more into the whole, there's a big Asian epidemic, you know, K-pop. I want to get into that. And I want to get into the regular hip hop scene, but I'm not really there yet. So a lot of these artists, they don't know who I am, but if they reached out to me, I would love to do songs with them. I'd love to just talk with them and kick it with them. I mean, it's awesome. Me and, Teddy, my hype man, we do a lot of shows that aren't, in the church and stuff. We just did one, we were at in the city, Gramercy Theater, and they're not Christian. They're drinking while I'm up there, and they love it.
And what's your explanation for that?
Because a lot of people, we're meeting a lot of people that have a big problem with that.
That they don't want to.
They don't want our artists to be mixing at all with the world. And it's a huge debate going on, because they feel like the Bible says you're not supposed to mix with the world, but then the counter to that is, then why are we doing this? Like, I thought we were there to help save people, right?
Yeah.
So, what's your take on that?
Oh, I that's like, I would love to just have that time just to, because even doing these non-Christian shows and how they are just so open to what I'm saying. I'm not on stage going Jesus, 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 but I'm letting them know what I represent. All my songs are positive. I have a message. And even when I got off stage this past Thursday, this girl came up to me and she was like, "Yo, we need this. We need this feed now." I was like, "Where are you guys?" They're so used to hearing all these women up there just talking, the trash. They don't get. We're more used to it because we're in the Christian hip hop industry, but they don't hear this. So to me, it's like, oh, okay. I mean, I do this all the time. They don't hear this message, and when you see that, it makes me want to do these.
It's surprising you, right? But we have to hear that all the time. This is a huge debate, and it's like, I wish it wasn't, because that's the point. That's right. That's why we're doing this. Unless you know from God your goal, your mission in life is to educate Christians and to build up Christians. But if you know you're supposed to be evangelist, then you kind of have to go into those places. So it's an interesting debate.
I feel like people are afraid to be Jesus. They don't want to admit that these were the places that Jesus would be. You know what I mean? And so they look at it and they say, well, we're Christians and we're supposed to stay boxed in and we're supposed to help these people, but he was going after the sick. Why can't we?
Right. But what is the what is the?
Let's get into this.
We're gonna we have a video coming out about this.
Oh yeah.
So but I think the explanation is like, it almost sounds like we should be doing us and let them do them, and somehow like sooner or later we're gonna cross.
No.
Is it something like that?
The idea is this: we do our Christian thing and do it so well that they will come to us versus us going to them. I think that overall that's kind of...
that's, I feel like the New York mentality as artists, that we're so, New York has like 50 million artists that shows every weekend. We feel like we don't need to go out and kill it and try and get as many shows as we want. We want the fans to come to us because we're from New York. We have that kind of arrogant attitude, like, yo, how come they're not coming to me to get my tracks to come to my show? You gotta go out to them. You gotta grind.
You gotta go.
They're not gonna always come to you. So
that's good. That's good.
I apologize to all the New York artists. They got only some of them.
Can I ask you a question? You said something about line for line. Did you have a problem with that?
The one with the Nicki Minaj?
Yeah.
No, I was shocked. Like, I mean, in a good way.
Okay.
Like, to just even be compared to her,
Yeah.
Wow.
That was awesome. I mean, I remember I was in bed, I was just watching it with my daughter. I mean, she didn't know what was going on. But I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this conversation is actually in existence right now. That, sometimes you doubt your own craft. You do a lot of shows, but you don't ever think that you could compare to the really big, names out there. So it was an honor. I was just so, yeah. I was like,
Yeah, that's a mixed bag too, as far as the reactions. Some people are really mad
yo,
about
I don't want you to do that no more. I'm like, okay, we won't do that no more. And then some people are like that, or like that. You know what I'm saying? So, but I think my last question is, so what's the new album gonna sound like? Because I love Stereotype was amazing. I love that joint. I love Plastic.
Right.
All the joints on there.
I got some tracks on there that are kind of that same type of feel. I have a very big poetry side to me as well, so I feel like Stereotypes was more popish and everything.
Gotcha.
I'm still gonna have that kind of stuff just because you want to get the turn up stuff when you're performing on stage. You want the crowd going crazy, but I'm gonna have a lot more personal things on here, just things I've been going through. Obviously, being independent, everything we've just been talking about. So I want to get more in depth on things that I didn't have a chance to do on my last album. So
it's like a mix of redefined Stereotypes together.
It is
like a gumbo.
Right. So the producer I'm working with here, his name is Sam Ock. I don't know if you know him from AMP.
That's what we were thinking. We thought you were coming to see them.
He's like a great musician. He does live instruments, all that. He's a great producer, everything. So I'm gonna get that more personal and in-depth feel from him. So I'm actually very excited for that.
Okay. Gotcha.
Awesome. Well, tell everybody how they can find you, where they'll see you on social media.
You guys can go on Instagram, Miss Heesun Lee, Twitter, Heesun Lee, Facebook, Heesun Lee Music. You can still cop my Stereotypes album on iTunes or CD Baby. Pretty much any media outlet. Just Google Heesun Lee. And my album, hopefully, God willing, will be the beginning of next year, probably like March-ish. So look out for that.
Are you ready to reveal what you're having, or is that going to be a surprise to you all?
Oh, no, I'm having a girl.
Awesome.
2 girls. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for hanging out with us and coming to the studio.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get back into it. You in the field with the Trackstarz, Ryan Righteous, SEANTANA, DJ Jeremiah. Let's go.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies?